The Calgary Police Service is currently investigating a suspicious death in the city's southwest. At approximately 8 a.m. today, Saturday, April 18, 2015, police were called to the 10,300 block of Macleod Trail S.W for reports of a man in medical distress. When officers arrived, they found a man believed to be in his 40s lying in the parking lot. He was declared deceased at the scene. The death is being treated as suspicious, and as such, the CPS Homicide Unit is leading the investigation. The man's identity is not yet known, and an autopsy is scheduled for early next week to determine the cause of death. We're also seeking any information that any people may have for this incident.
So when the call comes in as medical distress, just looking to clarify, is there anything that tells you that this person was alive at the time the call came in and then died by the time you got there, or what's the timeline on that?
There was nothing that was direct with that. We simply got the call that the man had suffered some trauma, and when we got there, officers determined immediately that he was deceased.
What specifically makes it suspicious? Anything?
Just location, the fact there's trauma to the body, but I mean the fact he's laying out in front of a local business, and like I say, the trauma to his body.
Can you confirm it's head trauma?
No, I can't.
The evidence markers indicate that the body came from the rear of the building, or something happened from the rear of the building. Can you talk about whether the man got there himself? Did somebody leave him there? What those markers indicate? Anything having to do with that?
I can't talk directly to that simply because we're so early in the investigation at this point. We don't know exactly what happened. So obviously we have the investigators out at the scene trying to piece together what happened directly at the scene.
Is it clear how long his body was there before he was discovered?
And again, that's one thing we don't have, we can't pinpoint. Again, being so early in the investigation, there's no way of knowing.
When you talk about his identity, have you sort of tentatively identified him and are working on next of kin, or you have no idea who he is? Because I know that you can't tell us officially until the autopsy's done, but where are you at in terms of next of kin?
We have a tentative identity, but until the autopsy's complete, we obviously won't be releasing that.
So have you been able to contact his family yet?
Actually, you know what, I actually don't know that. That'll be up to the homicide unit.
Is his connection to the location random?
Again, that's unknown. There's nothing to indicate that's the case.
Wait, there's nothing to indicate that his connection to the location?
Right, yeah, I mean, there's nothing that would lead us to say that there's a connection between him and the location where he was found.
Just maybe elaborate on what you're looking for from the public.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody had seen anything suspicious in the area, or if they know anything about the incident, obviously to contact us at the Crime Stoppers number, that would be, or contact any district office, obviously, or the homicide unit.
It looked like you guys were going in and out of the Chetland building. Is that connected in any way, or what are you guys looking for there?
Just a lot of the officers there are obviously searching for CCTV cameras to help us, determine if there are any in the area. Obviously, that would be a great help if we were to find some. So we're definitely canvassing not just that building, but the surrounding buildings as well.
Are you interviewing any witnesses?
There was a handful of witnesses that were brought here that we're interviewing, yes.
The business owners, a lot of the people that were on scene today expressed concern about the business owners of that automotive building. As far as you know, are they okay?
I know nothing about that. I don't know anything about that.
There was also a large dumpster in behind, but belonging to a strip mall beside that strip mall. Can you speak to what you might be looking for there?
You know what? It'd be typical for us to search in the bin and the whole surrounding area for any evidence that we could find. Nothing specific that I can tell you right now. It would just be a part of the scene examination.
Are you interviewing anybody as a person of interest or a suspect?
No, not at this point.
If this proves a homicide, which number would this be?
You know what? I don't have that number.
Some of the people we spoke with were quite upset to see the person in place for such a long time. Was it longer than normal before the medical examiner came and took the individual away, and why police did have that person in place for so long?
No, it wasn't longer than what would typically take place. Obviously, we're not going to move the body because it's for the medical examiner to assess what has occurred with the body and to preserve evidence as well. So we're just going to leave that body in place until everything is complete.
Is there any cause for public concern at this time?
There's no indication of that. Like I said, we're so early in the investigation right now. There's nothing that would indicate again that this was random. But again, we don't really know.
And sorry if you already said this, but is autopsy scheduled for Monday?
You know what, I don't know if it's Monday, it's early next week. Is it Monday?
No, early next week. They don't have dates.
Early next week.
When you ask people to come forward with information, is there a certain window that you're working for? We know that police were called to the area around 8 a.m. With the duty inspector, but is there a time of interest beforehand that maybe if people were in the parking lot or going for a jog earlier? What is the time frame that you'd like witnesses to come forward through?
Yeah, and you know what, because we don't know the time of death, it could be anything. It could be 5 hours before, it could be 2 hours before. It's just anything that anybody saw suspicious, presumably from when the business closed. Because it's obviously the body wasn't there when the business closed on Friday, so it could be any length of time, to be honest with you.
Now, I'm not sure if you're able to speak to this, but we noticed that the media saw that the men's hands were taped and wrapped with bags. Sometimes can be an indicator that maybe they were struggling with someone. Maybe you could just tell about the why they were actually taped up and why his hands were covered.
And that I can't actually comment on because I didn't even have that knowledge, so I'm not sure why that had been wrapped.
What time did the business close?
Yesterday? Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's just, I'm presuming yesterday evening.
And is evidence still being collected currently?
Yes.
Do you have any time frame on how long you expect to have the scene taped off?
I believe it should probably be just today, is what my understanding is.